Y'all, I am so sorry. I did not mean for the other video that I posted just recently to be more of a clapback. I meant it to be more informational and educational. But when I went back and looked at it, and all of the comments were, you got this, and that was not my intention at all. It was meant to be more informational and educational. So I totally failed at that. So here we go at another attempt to try and be more informational, educational about my brother who has Down syndrome. There's a wide, vast spectrum of people who have Down syndrome. You have people that are very well adept at reading and writing. There are some Down syndrome people that drive cars, that get their license, they own businesses. And when I see that coming across my screen, I'm just filled with such joy. And then there are some that are not as verbal as others. There are some nonverbal people with Down syndrome. So the spectrum is wide. John just happens to be somewhere in the middle. And I think I can answer this question in a couple of different ways. I'll start with the challenges that I faced when John first came to live with us, and the challenges that I face maybe now. I think one of the biggest challenges then was my feeling of losing my independence, and because now I have someone else to take care of. I have two daughters whom I raised. They went to college. They were basically out of the house, and I was living by myself. When John first came to live with us, it was during COVID. COVID had just hit. So I took John and my mom in. I, at the time, was living alone. My daughters, both of them were in college. One was getting ready to graduate from college in that May. And then Anna had just started a new college, and that was in January of 2020. And the biggest challenge for me when John first came to live with us, and my mom passed away in September of 2020, so I felt like I was losing my independence. Both girls were back home. It had been COVID. They were handling school online. My mom had just passed away, but I still had John, and I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I felt like, it was just, it was new. It was a new thing for us. It was a new way of living, a new way of life. And I struggled with that at first. Yes, I had siblings, but it was a pain to try to coordinate their schedules and John, and it was just a pain. So I would just, if I needed to get away to go somewhere, yes, I could call on them, and I did call on them, but it was a pain to have to figure all that out. So that was the first, kind of challenge. I felt like I was losing my independence. And it was just not the life that I had planned. I had not planned to, even though I kind of knew that John would eventually kind of end up with me, because we were just very close growing up, very close. His whole life I've been close. I don't know if I've said this or not, but every single night, every night without fail, I would go visit with my mom and John when they were in an apartment that was about, 10 minutes from where I lived. I would visit with them every evening. So I guess that's, the biggest challenge that I faced initially was feeling like I had lost my independence and just being able to come and go like I wanted to come and go. I think it's a balancing act as to when we give that high support when he needs it or ask for it, and also allowing him the space to be independent. And it's hard. Do I get it right? No. Do I get it right sometimes? Yep. Do I get it right all the time? No. I do think that it's important to learn from your mistakes. I think it's important to have open communication and allow John the freedom to have the independence that he desires, but also give him the high support when it comes down to safety and things that will compromise that safety. Okay, so a true example of what this is going to look like, or what this looks like in our house, maybe not your house, but our house. This is something that has come up recently because I signed John up for some kayaking classes for this summer. And my daughters about lost it with me. Mom, I cannot believe you're allowing him to be on a kayak with people and you don't even know these people and da-da-da-da-da. But it is with Access Wilmington, and it is just for special needs adults. So I've done my research. I know that I know some of the people that run the program. I don't know all of them, no. But he will be safe. He will be fine. He will have a life jacket. But I want him to be able to experience those things on his own. And they almost ate me up for that. And they're just going to have to learn to be okay with it, because John can do this. And I believe that he's going to have the support that he needs to do this program. The challenge that I face now is very different because I've adjusted. If I need to go somewhere, I know what I need to do, who I need to call on. I guess the challenge that I face now is him aging and everything that comes along with that. And the biggest challenge is, both of my parents had dementia as they aged. Down syndrome people have a higher propensity of dementia as they age. I am seeing John age, and his communication and the way we used to engage in conversation is not the same as it was before. We would be able to hold a conversation before that did not involve talking about blue or green or just his little things that he does that he stems on. But it's a lot of stemming now. There's a lot of repetitive things that he does, a lot of things that he does, like if he has to go downstairs to do anything, he has to look at you before he goes down the stairs. He has to either point at the color blue. If he has a blue shirt on, he'll do this. What is this? Then he'll get to the bottom of the stairs and he'll say, he has something that he says at the bottom of the stairs that you have to repeat back to him, because if you don't, you're stuck there forever. So that's frustrating. So those are the frustrations now. And shout out to people that have special needs, family members or people that they're taking care of, that they don't have a support system that we have. But it's tough when you have someone that stems like John does. And I know it's funny online, and we do make light of situations like that, because that's the only way we can kind of cope, is by having, just making light of it. Because I mean, you'll go crazy if you don't. Literally, it is from the time he gets up until the time he goes to bed, it is all about blue, all about green. There's other things that he stems with. I can't say online because it would give away our address, and he does that all the time. And sometimes we're in the middle of filming something and he will shout out our address. And, we always try to get him to say his address because we want him to know where he lives. But it's a constant repetitive thing that he says it all the time. If you see videos of us and it's clipped, that's probably because in the middle of the video, he has said our address. And so we can't say that. Obviously, we can't say that online. But those are the two biggest challenges that I've faced since he's come to live with me is the number one, the feeling like I have lost my independence or lost my ability to just come and go like I wanted to come and go. And then now it's, seeing him age and just frustration at not knowing how to deal with the OCD part of, what he's going through, because a person like myself, I can go to a psychiatrist or a counselor and get the help that I need, with OCD. But because he has a lack of communication skills and there are not a lot of trained professionals that can handle people with special needs, it's tough. And so we always get it right? No, but at least we're trying. So those are the challenges that we face. I hope this was informative. I hope it was a little bit educational. One of the things I did want to say is I've learned a lot about Down syndrome. It's frustrating when I take him to a doctor's office, and for example, the other day we went to Chapel Hill because of, we follow up with them every 6 months because of his blood work. And, I talked to the doctor there and I said, well, this may be a reason why he's a little bit anemic. Down syndrome people have a higher tendency to have gluten intolerance or celiac disease because of the Down syndrome. And he was like, no, I did not know that. Now, granted, I don't know why doctors aren't being taught these kind of things, because he's not the first doctor that hasn't known something that I've said. The whole thing about the extra chromosome that they have that carries, and I'm maybe not saying it correctly, so don't eat me up in the comments, but that extra chromosome carries a genetic marker on it for dementia. And so that's why a lot of Down syndrome people, as they age, they develop dementia. And that's scary for me. So, and especially because both of my parents had dementia as they grew older. So, it's something that I have to think about. And, what happens if, God forbid I get dementia or my brother gets dementia? How are my kids going to handle that? And all of the things. And I have learned, believe it or not, I learned that about that gene marker, that genetic marker on the extra chromosome by one of the followers here. They had that same experience. So I'm learning from you guys just as much as you learn from me. That is, I do my research, yes, but you guys teach me just as much as you say that I'm teaching you. So shout out to you guys. And if you know something, and please share the information, type it up in the comments. Let me know what you know, because I'll research the heck out of something. But those are the two biggest challenges that I've had. There are more, of course, but as we do life, I'm sharing my life with you guys. I share our family's life with you guys because I feel it's important for other people with different abilities to be able to see what it's really like. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. You guys see the good, the bad, and the ugly. No, do I show you everything? No. But, for the most part, you guys see what it's really like, in our household and how we deal with things. So if you have any questions, comments, put it in the comment section and I will do my very best to get back with you. Thank you. We love you guys. I love this community of followers that John has, and just shout out to you guys.